What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel today for a special interview. Hopefully by now you had a chance to check out my review of the film Body Brokers, which is in theaters, on demand, and digitally February 19th. I am alongside the writer and director, John Swab. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Good, good. It's so much I wanted to tell you, but first I just want to say thank you so much for this film. It was fantastic. It was a sleeper for me. I remember requesting this film, and I was like, Frank Grillo, I cannot wait to see what he's going to do and how much ass he's going to kick. And it wasn't that. And instead, it was a really heartfelt story, to the point that the PR person would tell you, I literally maybe wrote in all caps, like, I need to talk to him. I know this is a passion project. And then I read, I was like, it is absolutely a passion project. And here we are. I just cannot wait to really walk down some of the steps and bringing this film to life, because it's fantastic.
Thank you very much, man. That's really flattering. It means a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? And recently I just checked out the film Cherry, which does explore the natures of addiction. The movie Cherry is with Tom Holland. It explores the nature of addiction, how it destroys families and whatnot. But what you did very interesting and very unique is something I've never seen before, and that's actually talking about the system around recovery, the treatment system, and just the corruption all around that. And how you explained it to someone who's just oblivious to this, I just so thoroughly appreciate it for you really bringing that to life. And I want that, you know, for anybody listening to know that when you're going into this film, you're going to be exposed to a side that you may never have seen before, but yet everybody should be aware of this.
I agree. I agree.
So I want to start off by saying I've never heard of the terms body brokers. And then again, you shedded light on the corruption of the system. So beyond just enjoying the film, it was an educational thing for me. Very vital, must I say. I want to kind of know what's really the response that you're kind of looking for in the viewers into going to this.
I'm hoping that, you know, people will take a look at what's going on and, you know, hopefully try and enact some change and get some oversight and some, you know, some kind of legislation that will, you know, help govern the treatment industry a little bit and you know, straighten things out.
Was it by design, or is this the response, the natural response I should have to this? But like, I don't really feel like there was a bad guy in this. I feel like it's the system that's the problem.
That's exactly right. I mean, you know, I did a lot of research for this, you know, personal research, you know, actually using drugs for a long time and going to a lot of treatment centers, but also I talked to a lot of treatment center owners, body brokers, people that had been brokered, doctors, nurses, etc. And, you know, the thing I gleaned was that I didn't feel like there was anybody who was inherently bad or the real villain in all of this. It's just that the system is flawed to a point where, you know, it's pushed people to go to extremes to try and survive. And, yeah. You know, it's so yeah, I think that it's a systemic problem.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough, in the year 2020, I think this was the time where a lot of people had a lot of time on their hand. And I think that bringing awareness to things that people may not be aware of is the perfect time. And I think this being released where it is just so fitting. So again, congratulations on the much success coming and thus far. You did mention you being a recovering addict. Let's kind of start with the basis here with that. You are a walking testimony. You are a testament to the idea that you can make it, you can survive. What advice would you give to people who may be potentially struggling right now?
Just that, you know, it's a really powerful and humbling thing to finally ask for help. And, you know, unfortunately, and what hopefully this film will change is that, you know, the places we're told to go for help aren't actually there to help us, like these treatment centers, you know. So, you know, 12-step programs are, you know, I get a lot of people that call me and ask me, you know, what should I do? Friends of mine that are struggling. And that's the suggestion I give them, is to seek out a 12-step program in their area and go talk to people there, people that, you know, understand what you're going through and that have no financial incentive to help you.
Yeah. So again, I early detected that this was a passion project, yet personal project. Then I obviously read the director's note and seeing that, confirming that it is. So I started to realize, I started to kind of assess, well, what character are you? And I started to think like, well, Utah would be the easy answer, but I also feel like there's glimpses of Wood that may be personal to you as well. So could you kind of, in other words, since it's based on true events, can you kind of tell me which of these characters is more of a reflection of some of the things that you've been through? And or is there multiple characters that is a reflection of self?
Yeah, I think Utah and parts of Wood would probably reflect my experience the most. But you know, Opal, played by Alice Englert, May, played by Jessica Roth, Melissa Leo's character Vin. I mean, these are all people I know, or you know, or reflections of people I know.
Yeah.
And so it was very personal on all levels to me in terms of you know, the story and the characters within the story. So
yeah, you start mentioning your cast. We can't go much farther without talking about this star-studded cast that you have. Now you have Frank Grillo, Jack Kilmer, and then you have Michael Kenneth Williams. You know, I have to say, whenever you were in the writing process and you started visualizing these characters, and again, you said, you know, they're a reflection of some people that you've met or experienced in times of your life. Could you ever imagine that once this started to get some legs under it, that this would be your cast? Like, when did you get your first casting? And then when did it just truly just started to become real for you? These are big names here.
Yeah, I mean, Melissa came on first, and she's a really dear friend of my producer and I. And you know, once she came on, next was Michael K. And then from there it was everybody else. And it was, you know, we kind of had to pinch ourselves because it was such a great cast and everybody was such a fantastic actor and talent. I think the performances top to bottom in the movie are excellent and very true to the subject matter. So yeah, I mean, you know, on the day when we were filming, you know, there were times I couldn't believe that, you know, Omar saying the words.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that was incredible. So, you know, same with Melissa, same with Alice. You know, Peter Green playing the doctor was one of those, you know, lot of really, really cool moments on the set and making this film.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, again, Michael K. You know, him across from Frank Grillo. I don't even know how y'all were able to stay on task here. That's two huge personalities, and then Melissa Leo as well, which we'll come back to her in a second. But like, I just couldn't even imagine the mixing pool of just knowledge being thrown around and experience, and just, you know, independent filmmaking is a really broke business. But when you're able to pull something off like this, I mean, you have to, like, you know, you have to keep your head up high. This is just fantastic. And the cast up and down. This felt like anything other than an independent film. Absolutely, casting, cinematography, everything just came together really, really, really well and told a powerful story. Powerful story. Oh man, I'm a huge fan of it. But the next thing I definitely want to talk about too is Jack. You know, still really coming up in his career. I think that, you know, giving him, and from the work I've seen now, this dude is just showing a vast range of versatility. How did you know that had to be your lead here? And then again, with Utah sharing a connection with you, why was Jack the person?
Yeah, I mean, Jack, I'd seen him in Palo Alto, and you know, he's got a very delicate and naive presence. You know, and I think in this world of sharks and people just taking advantage of everybody, I felt like that presence was important. You know, I wanted, you know, we used kind of Jack as a conduit and Utah's character as a conduit to where, you know, we're, as the audience, just kind of experiencing everything through him. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, whether people realize it or not, if you've been through it, you'll identify with it. But when you're getting sober and you know, coming out of all that, and especially in a new environment, you don't really know what's going on, and you're pretty dazed, and you know, you're overwhelmed with emotion and all these things you haven't felt in a really long time. So, you know, Jack's performance kind of reflects that, where he's just kind of moving through this thing, and not even realizing that he's just another cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
So, you know, Jack's a sweet kid. I mean, he's naturally kind of aloof, you know, and a little dazed, but he's a sweet guy, and I think he did a great job.
If the shoe fits, right?
Yep. There you go. There you go.
I do want to backtrack just really quickly. Now, you said there was a lot of good moments on set. Is there anything that just really stands out from your time of filming with all of them?
You know, just the things you outlined. You know, there's the scene where Michael Kay and Frank are sitting across from each other, and you know, we filmed that in the same diner they filmed The Big Lebowski in, and you know, that whole, it was just really surreal. Getting, I mean, when guys like that are saying your dialogue, I don't have to do a lot of work. You know, I'm just kind of, you know, sitting there. You know, I want to just pop some popcorn and have a joke, you know. So it's really cool. You know, my producer and I, we work really, really hard to make these movies happen. And those moments, when you're watching the monitor and seeing like titans kind of go at it on screen with, you know, the dialogue and story we've worked so hard to get there, that's what kind of makes it all worth it. I mean, you know, everything else, you know, that's kind of the only real validation you're going to get in making films is that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I kind of want to ask another question, and by all means, if this is you know, if this is sensitive to you, absolutely don't have to answer. But I thought there was one really important scene with Utah towards the end of this film, and this is not a spoiler, folks, but it's the idea of a recovering addict being able to witness, you know, the road that he kind of transcended from looking and from filming this. Did you ever find yourself in times where it just all started to become so real and so personal? And to my question is there moments where you just had to decompress in the filming process because of going back down this road and you know, and the triggering of memories and whatnot? Because whether it's you know, again, you said it could have been friends or something, you could have, you know, lost people down this journey. Is there any moment where you just was just like, I just need a second?
That's a good question. And I think, you know, once we were actually shooting, not so much. I mean, that was a really cathartic process to kind of have all of these people in, you know, in environments that I actually use drugs in, like the motel at the beginning where they're staying. I used to stay over there and use drugs over there. And, you know, these alleyways and all these places are very personal to me. So having, you know, it was kind of this very expensive role play session for me, you know, where I got all these people, these famous people to kind of reenact my past for me, and I got to work it out, you know. But in terms of, you know, things that were tough, I mean, the prepping for it, you know, when I was alone and in location scouting and going back to these locations, that was, you know, triggering and sobering in a way to be there with, you know, a sober head and sober mind and a clear objective of what I was doing there. That was vastly different than the last time I was there. So, but you know, I have a good network of people. You know, very close with the people I work with, and like I said, my producer and my wife was also in the film, and she's sober, and you know, so I keep a tight circle of people that I trust, and that, you know, I couldn't do any of this without. So
awesome. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Again, folks, because we're running up on our time, Body Brokers is in theaters on demand digitally February 19th. We're talking to the writer and director, John Swab. Look, man, I'm a huge fan. I can't wait to see what's coming next. I really, really love your writing style and directing and bringing this to life. This was just fantastic. With that being said, I took a little glimpse into upcoming projects, and it looks like you're bringing a band back together as you got Melissa, Leo, and Frank Grillo for another project, which you'll also be starring in as well, too, in Ida Red. Is there anything you can say about this just yet?
I'm going to tell you, if you're a Frank Grillo fan, which it seems like you are, you're going to need a big gold diaper when you watch that movie, because you're going to see your pants. You know? So, you know. But no, seriously, it's a neo-Western. We're really excited about it. I mean, I am a huge Frank Grillo and Melissa Leo fan and a Josh Hartnett fan. And, you know, we just finished the movie, and it's really, really special. And you know, I've never seen, you know, since you're a Frank guy, I've never seen Frank like this. So, you know, make sure you got to change your undies whenever it comes out.
Look, you're gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna send an email to a PR person right now. Like, I need a screener. I'm not even sure if it's done yet.
I look forward to talking to you when that one comes out too. So.
Absolutely, the seat is open, brother.
Yep.
Again, I can't thank you enough for bringing this project to life. And you know, keep up the good work, and congratulations on all the success thus far. You know, walking testimony, and I think that, you know, anytime, you know, you or anybody can put together a project and you can make the viewers feel, you're doing something right. And trust me, I was feeling every bit of that film, and that was just the most unexpected thing I thought upon starting that film, and I am just still on cloud 9 after. So thank you again for it, man.
Thank you for talking about it, man, and taking the time. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, not a problem. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Stay tuned for more interviews, and keep an eye out for John's work, because like I said, more things are absolutely coming, folks. But for now, definitely check out Body Brokers, which is going to be dropping February 19th. Thank you for tuning in, folks.